Hi, I'm Brandon Neely from Team Jabs. We're here to educate today on global communication concepts for business success. In this video, we're going to divvy it up into subcategories. First, we're going to discuss workplace challenges as a result of ineffective communication. We'll then discuss our training that we came up with, our lessons to solve these challenges. Then we'll talk about some actual testimonies from some workers we've interviewed on poor or, on the other hand, effective communication in the workplace. We'll also talk about how our book ties in with effective and ineffective communication, and finally go over a couple employers that we think could benefit from our training. Just as a result of effective communication, it's plain and simple. We don't all speak the same language. Obviously, businesses are more diverse than ever nowadays, and language barriers are always a challenge when it comes to communication in the workplace. Feedback. People don't always know where they stand in a company. Managers oftentimes have a problem giving proper feedback to their employers, and they may be too destructive in their feedback, or they may not know how to give constructive feedback, or they may shy away from giving feedback to avoid a confrontation. Listening. Most of the time, employers just want their voice to be heard. If their views, opinions, concerns fall on deaf ears, then communication just becomes more difficult. Clarifying. People are hesitant to ask for clarification because if they may feel like it makes them look like they didn't listen in the first place. So if people ask for clarification, they feel like, I didn't listen to you the first time, tell me it again. But clarification is key in the workplace. If you have something wrong, if you don't know, you need to clarify, you need to ask. Plain and simple. Distractions. There's a huge list of distractions that can be made, but some examples are background noises, windows, overhead music, lighting. It can all prohibit effective communication. Say you're in an interview with a boss, or you're getting up, moving up in position, and you're getting distracted. It doesn't exactly make you look like a professional communicator to be all over the place during an interview. Written versus spoken directions. Difficult to cater your message to the individual. It's important to have precise directions in written form so employees can always refer to what is expected. There's also individuals who need spoken direction, not just written. This is also an example of ineffective communication, be it spoken or written. Alright, chain of command in the workplace is common for a company to go through structural changes. Sometimes the company doesn't effectively communicate to the employees who they report during these changes. Employees, sometimes they feel lost, and thus they don't communicate within their company.
Hi, I'm Aaron. Now that Brandon talked to you about workplace challenges, I get to talk to you about training lessons that can solve these workplace challenges. He first mentioned language, so we don't obviously speak the same language. In order to solve this problem, you can be sensitive, obviously, to the needs of your employees. Try your best to cater your message to them and do not show frustration or any bias over cultural differences. Feedback. Be diligent in providing constructive feedback. Do not be afraid to critique performance. In the long run, it can only benefit your company and their objectives. Listening. Do not hear, listen. Your employees have a voice, and it is vital to recognize that and put their requests into action. Keep employees posted on how their concerns are being handled behind the scenes. It can be helpful to give employees a time frame too for a solution. Clarifying. Have an open communication style that promotes clarification. Do not judge an employee for asking for clarification. It can be more beneficial to the company if the employee asks questions before taking action. Distractions. Be aware of your surroundings when giving crucial and time-sensitive information. Make sure meetings are done in a controlled environment to avoid distraction as much as possible. Written versus spoken directions. It is important to provide both written and spoken directions to your employees. Make sure employees have an opportunity to access written expectations. Make sure that when you give verbal directions that they match what is written. Last workplace challenge is chain of command. Keep employees informed of all corporate restructuring. It is important to eliminate confusion by communicating to your employees who they will report to if there happens to be a gap in the chain of command.
3.
Alright, next up we got testimonies. Each member of our group was responsible to interview a couple people within the workplace, see what forms of effective and ineffective communication that they see at their place of employment. So first, I interviewed a couple people from Target. I work for Target. It's convenient for me. First up was Marissa. She's a peer of mine. She has a hard time dealing with expectations being fair across the board. She believes that her manager doesn't keep everybody else on her level up to the same standards that she expects from her. She believes that the expectations that are given to her are unachievable and unfair. Previously, she had a boss that would fight tooth and nail for her, and her boss always had her back no matter what the situation was, and in turn she always felt valued and always wanted to work hard for that boss. So she would prefer, obviously, a boss like that. To relate this back to what we just talked about with workplace challenges and our training lessons, I would say her biggest problem within the workplace is her manager not listening to her. She doesn't feel valued, she doesn't feel like she has a voice, and I think if the manager would just hear her out, they could together hash out a situation and get this ineffective communication turned effective. Second person I interviewed was Nicole, also from Target. She has a hard time with new supervisors coming into the company and trying to change things. It just leaves a bad taste in her mouth from day one, and it kind of dooms the relationship from there. Nicole used to have a boss that would recognize her a lot. She's a person that needs recognition, needs to know that she's doing a good job, and her previous boss did a great job of doing that. She loves to be recognized, like I said, and she loves when she knows that she's worked hard, that she is doing something that is being noticed within the company. So to relate that back also is feedback is very important to her. She wants to know that she's contributing to the overall business success, and she wants to be recognized for things that she's done positively.
Hi, it's me again. I interviewed my Uncle Jeff, a managing broker at Edina Realty, and I simply asked him the question, what are a few examples of generally effective and ineffective communication concepts in the world of professional business? Some effective concepts. Effective communication is achieved by directly engaging the consumer, reaching out to the consumer through personal communication. This includes, and I'm going to emphasize, responding through social media right now, like Facebook, Twitter, WordPress blog. Emphasis on response, because not all consumers may be a part of the social media, and it may be useless if used purely as a tool to reach out and not to respond and communicate. These resources are very useful because they can help educate on niche categories and keep consumers in the loop. It's important. Being effective means a good relationship between business and consumer and to build on each other's experiences. Some ineffective concepts. Social media can be an excellent tool at aiding communication between business and consumers, but at the same time it can also be very ineffective if used improperly. Businesses uneducated on social media may throw useless information at the consumers that they're trying to connect with. Not to mention ineffective concepts. Social media can be an excellent tool in aiding communication between business and consumer, but at the same time it can also be very ineffective if used improperly. Businesses uneducated on social media may throw useless information at the consumers they're trying to connect with. Not to mention, some businesses may even harass the consumer through social media, and they may not even realize it. Calling consumers constantly and harassing them is another example of ineffective communication that will not build any connection between the business and consumer. Businesses need to focus on what the consumers care about when using social media to communicate, especially because, let's be honest, if we don't care, we don't feel connected, and if we don't feel connected, then we don't use.
I interviewed Haley from Minnesota Eye Consultants, and she struggles with her boss because there's too much delegation. She does not feel supported in anything she does and feels that her managers don't pull any of their own weight. She loves a boss that understands her job and knows how much work goes into what she does. She had a boss like this and felt valued for working for her. She says it doesn't take much to accomplish this. Just be yourself, be real, and not a corporate monkey.
Hi, I'm Jared Eden Wilson, and I interviewed Amanda at a veterinarian clinic. Her biggest complaint was the lack of communication. They don't have meetings to learn how to cooperate with each other, and because of it, it creates a lot of social barriers. They're just not comfortable with each other. I'm also going to talk about employers that would benefit from the training of this video. We believe these four would be our key targets, and it would be Target, Walmart, DigiKey, Technical Services, and Edina Realty.